all of this was happening while I was still in active addiction too. So I was this successful therapist, getting all this knowledge, but also battling my own demon. While I was doing my first offender program, I was arrested 2 more times. I had 13 felony charges in my lifespan criminal career.
Brother, that's a lot. Do you think that men are more emotionally weak nowadays?
I think what's happening is that we're actually having real conversations for the first time, and that's bringing things to light.
Like, what's an addiction that people do not think that they have?
Work.
Really? So workaholics.
Porn is huge nowadays. The evolution of porn has been crazy.
Would you say that that's the biggest unknown addiction in modern society today, or is there something worse?
Gambling's getting nasty. Your brain gets higher when you lose than when you win. Brain loves bigger odds.
What's the biggest truth about mental health?
We all have it. Mental health, it's your mind's health. You can't neglect your mind's health.
What's going on, beautiful world, and welcome to another episode of the Black Sheep Perspective. Today's amazing guest is psychotherapist Daniel Rubin. Daniel Rubin specializes in addiction and substance misuse, anxiety and panic disorders, depression, general mental health, and personal growth and self-esteem. In today's podcast, we discuss the current epidemic of men's mental health, as well as addictions of all levels, including workaholics, porn addiction, drugs and alcohol, and many more unknown vices. We went deep into the weeds of trauma and how our childhood upbringing plays a significant role in who we are today. We addressed the impact of relationships and societal influences, as well as therapy and recovery. We also covered many misconceptions surrounding mental health and how one can reinvent themselves to become a better version. Today's podcast was full of some of the most valuable information we've ever shared, and it's definitely an episode that you want to pay close attention to. So sit back, take some notes, and be ready to enjoy an amazing podcast. And by the way, guys, if you like what you're listening to and you think this will help somebody, please share this with a friend. Today's podcast episode goes really deep, and it's touching on something that society is really being impacted on, and that's mental awareness, period. Doesn't matter the gender or what race you're from or what country you're at. This is an epidemic going on, especially here in our country. So today's episode is one that you really want to fine-tune into. And if you like what you're hearing and what you're listening to, share it with somebody. And if you want to show support to the podcast, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And let's do this, man. It's going to be a great episode. I know you're going to enjoy it. Let's get to the podcast. Daniel, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's truly an honor. And I want to say it's truly a privilege because I know that you're going to really educate us today. There's a lot to talk about. And by the way, a big shout out to our friend psychologist, Dave Kraske, who recommended you highly. He was quick to tell me that, hey, man, after this podcast, you need to reach out to Daniel. He was awesome. He's an addiction expert. He's got all kind of expertise under his belt. Great storyline. And you do, brother. You do. And now that I've gotten to know you and talk to you, and we had our meeting, and we just talked right now before off cam, I want to really dig deep into this because it seems like in today's world, there's a men's mental health epidemic as of somewhat. Epidemic might be a strong word, but I know there's a lot going on there, and you're about to school us on that. But before you do, can you give everybody a little backdrop on your education and how you got to where we're at right now?
Sure, of course. I've been in the field for about 15 years. I practiced everywhere. When I came out of grad school, I have a master's in counseling and a master's in school counseling. I was that guy that wanted to touch everything. I wanted to learn as much as possible. So I started my career in a methadone Suboxone clinic doing medicated assisted treatment. That was eye-opening. Then I went to state mental health doing severe and persistent mental illness, like your schizophrenic, schizoaffective, all sorts of things there. I started running an IOP for substance abuse at that time. Then I went into a inpatient psychiatric hospital where you get to see the people that needed the residential treatment for depression, anxiety, substance abuse. You get to see those people that are chronically depressed, chronically suicidal. That was eye-opening also. From there, I left to work in a maximum security prison in Atlanta.
Sheesh.
Yes, where I got to deal with the people that were never coming home, that had severe and persistent mental illness, but also, murderers, big crimes. That was also very interesting. Then I landed in the CEO of a treatment center in Atlanta. All of this was happening while I was still in active addiction too. So I was this successful therapist getting all this knowledge, but also battling my own demons. So I ended up getting sober, coming to Florida, and then got back into the treatment world, worked at Recovery Unplugged and Legacy Hope and Healing. And then in 2018, I opened my own private practice. And 3 years ago, we opened our own intensive outpatient program just for men called Transcend Wellness.
Is there a specific reason why you went just for men? Do you feel, I mean, you obviously have the right to, and by the way, congratulations on your recovery. You're
Thank you.
forever recovering, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that is part of the, I don't know.
One day at a time, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that gives you so much more credibility. I think when someone has actually been at the front lines, when someone really got their hands dirty, they have more substance to use and as a credible source, like, hey, I was there. I'm still there. I'm still fighting it. I'm still recovering. So that's an amazing, feat on your behalf. What is it about men in today's world that has them secretly fighting these mental issues?
So we've always had issues. Let's be real. I tell people when they come into therapy, you're just a human, right? Like this idea that you're not supposed to have stuff is this big fallacy. It's not a real thing. And most people, even when they approach therapy, they believe they have to be sick. They have to have a crisis, right? It's like this tool that's been mislabeled in a way that there has to be something fundamentally wrong with you to utilize it. And I really want to break that stigma and allow people to understand that any tool that can help improve your life, why wouldn't you want to, right? Like you train, you're into the mixed martial arts. You help people better their body, better their mind.
Exactly.
Learn how to defend themselves. Like that's an awesome asset. Why wouldn't I want that, right? So if I can have somebody who knows how my brain works, why wouldn't I take that tool? So I think that a big thing with men is that we're fighting a huge cultural war, a huge, United States of America set idea of what a man's supposed to be that's really rooted in some belief systems that just don't hold true anymore, right? The 1950s male is not the 2026 male. Right? We have way more responsibilities. We're dealing with way more aspects of life, and there's way more demands on us. Yet we really haven't evolved to utilize the tools we need. And I think also with technology, we're getting a clearer, more realistic picture of people, right? In the 50s, 60s, 70s, you could isolate, you could do your stuff and not talk about it, and nobody knew about it. But today with the internet, with all these things, people are secretly reaching out.
Exactly.
And they're spreading the awareness that like, wait a minute, I have been depressed. I've had anxiety. I have trauma. I have substance. I'm addicted to porn, whatever it might be. And it's not that mental health hasn't been there. It's that the awareness and it's coming to light more. So we have to be willing to go, wait a minute, can we start to actually address it?
That makes total sense. So it's like it's been happening, but because technology was not there where people can express themselves and reach out the way they have, even through text, and I mentioned a friend of mine, Kevin, who at some point in our group text, and I told Dave Crashby about this, he was texting in a way like, hey, how do you guys deal with stress? Hey, fellas, and it was in our men's chat, hey, fellas, how do y'all deal with, and he worded it in a certain way. And of course, all the fellas, and Kevin, I'm sorry to put it out there, my brother, I love you to death, but all the fellas were like, you pussy, or we grab our nuts, or we this, or we that, and I'm just, of course I'm laughing, but then I'm like, wait a minute, I think Kevin was kind of reaching out right there.
1,000%.
And I started thinking, the man's a lawyer, he's super stressed with lawyer, he just bought a house, he's moving, he's gotten things meshed up with his girlfriend, and I think he's reaching out. And I thought, well, this isn't where to address it. I'm going to talk to him one-on-one when the time is right. And we did, and he admitted it. And you're correct.
But why couldn't the group embrace it?
We got to talk to those motherfuckers, I know.
Like that,
I got to bring them to you, bro.
That's a problem.
It is.
You know what I mean? What the fuck is wrong with us that we can't have a real conversation? Like, nobody in that group doesn't know what stress is.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what you've done your whole life. You know what stress is.
Of course.
Right? And like, It's so funny because there's a piece of us that's talking that knows it's bullshit. Like, yeah, just man up. You know that shit doesn't work.
Right.
Right? Anyone that's lived life knows this idea that you just keep stuffing it down realistically doesn't
So let me
work.
piggyback that. So do you think men are saying that, majority of men are saying that because they had to do it and it's kind of like a sorry, like, fuck that, I had to go through it too, brother. Tough it out.
Yeah, dude. My father, I saw my father cry one time when my grandfather passed away.
Ooh.
Right? I heard him weep like for a week. And then guess what? Put on the tie, put on the jacket, went back to work and never talked about it again. I still can't bring up my grandfather's death to my dad.
Wow.
The cemetery's across the street from my house in Myrtle Beach. He's never been there.
So you think his issue is avoiding it versus confronting it because of how he was brought up?
That's what he taught me, right? And it's like a lot of us don't even realize the power. Kids don't listen to their parents. They watch what they do. So if the men in our life have modeled this behavior our entire life, and most of us have, right? It's around my age. My dad's in his 80s now, 78, right? Like most of us that I know around my age, they had these parents that did not talk, right? The dad, they went to work, they came home, they ate dinner, they went to bed. They weren't really involved in the child caring or any of those pieces.
So true.
All they did was work, make money, and that was only responsibility that was known to them. But I never saw my father express weakness or have emotions or talk about stress. Like none of that stuff was real. So it's like my parents never fought either. This is a great one. So when I was like in 6th grade, I thought everybody was just going to get married. If they were dating in middle school, because my idea of a relationship was like just two people come together and everything is great. They never fight. There's no problems. They just love each other and they never get divorced. So early on, I used to think, like, I remember this kid, Henry and Mary, started dating in middle school. I was like, oh, they're set for life. That's what a relationship is.
Because that's what you were seeing.
And then you experience your first relationship and you go, holy crap.
These people were hiding shit, yeah.
Not even that. I'm fucked up.
Oh, okay,
I'm
because
flawed.
you're not. Gotcha.
What I see isn't flawed because kids don't know anything. Kids are egocentric. They think everything's about them. So all I can do is point to I'm the issue. So the reason Jessica broke up with me is because I suck, not because this is a fundamentally wrong picture that's very hard to do. There's something wrong with me, which is a deep insecurity, which we hide and then we try to overcome by, guess what? Success, money, material.
Hide it behind that.
Hide it behind all the things that we think America tells us will make us happy, right? One of our number one clients is the newly retired man.
Wow.
And I'm talking about guys that made $50, $100 million.
Right, where they really shouldn't be.
You
don't think they should, at least.
You don't think. They have the yacht, they have the house, they have the 3 kids, they have the wife or the husband, and they are suicidally depressed because everything they were taught, they accomplished, and now that main job is gone.
Now what?
They don't have anything else to focus on. Their mind finally slows down for once. It's silent, and all of a sudden, all that shit that they suppressed, and they don't know what the fuck to do. And
Do you think that men are more emotionally weak nowadays versus numb? What's the difference?
So I hate the word weak.
Yeah, I know. I had to throw it out there.
Of course, listen,
you know?
it's used. You know what I mean? I have so many clients that come into my office and they feel so ashamed because they are emotionally weak, because they can't handle life. It's like, dude, you're not supposed to be handling this all the time. Like, it was easier to raise a child as a single mother in the 70s than it is today due to research. Because in the 70s, guess what we had? Community.
Right.
We had more people. If a single mother had a baby,
It's true.
the
Wow.
whole neighborhood came together, right? And like that baby would go all over the place. Today we have this illusion of connection through technology. So again, I don't think men are weaker. I think what's happening is that we're actually having real conversations for the first time, and that's bringing things to light. And we got to change this idea that people are not supposed to have emotional issues, right?
How often would men mentally break down or hit that wall, if we're going to call it that, of some type of breakdown before they actually seek help? How often are they like just holding it back in? Is this 95, 99%?
I would say 99.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard because the majority of my clients only find me because of crisis. Something has happened.
So they're not. So okay, they wait till the shit hits the fan big time.
Listen, America does not preach preventative health care.
Right.
Right? Even your day-to-day doctors, like most of us only go get a physical because there's a crisis, or we get that $25 tax credit from United Health if you go get your yearly physical, or your wife or partner push the pressure to actually go check it out. Most of us aren't regularly doing things for our health that we should be doing, that we have access to. So especially with the mental health world, because there's still a big stigma. There's still like, would you tell your buddies you go to therapy?
Right. I mean, we had this conversation, and once again, I hate to say this, but it is what it is,
Please be honest.
And the truth is that there was a few of us, and I'm going to throw myself in there. Yeah. See, that one of the problems that you're the specialist that people have is owning up to shit first. Like the 12-step, Alcoholics Anonymous, steps like that. The first step to recovery is you got to admit you got a problem.
Accept.
You got to accept you got a problem. So I want to accept that and say that I was one of these people who was saying, I waited because I felt shame if I said it first. But I asked one of my close friends, I called my brother, I said, hey, man, have you ever thought about reaching out for therapy? After we lost his brother, our close friend. And he said, he might have crossed his mind, but then he was like, fuck that. And our whole crew could have used some form of therapy. And there was only like one or two who actually seeked it. And guess what? The females.
Yeah.
All the males, we didn't talk about it. We didn't irk each other on or negate each other. Oh, yeah, you should go get therapy. When we all talked about it, it was like, I don't want to insult anybody, but I just feel like that's for weaker people. Like, I mean, why are you going to talk to somebody who hasn't even been through that? And they're going to, fuck that. I don't know. You're just basically talking to yourself. And I kind of went with it. And I was like, I hear you. If you're not mentally strong enough, you're not going to give yourself the right advice, so on and so forth. That might be a little too bold and cocky for me to say. Again, you're the expert. But, yeah, unfortunately, I think I kind of fall in that basket of eggs sometimes. Yeah.
And there's a few things wrong with the whole what you just said, right? One, a lot of people don't understand what therapy is, right? People all the time, like, why would I pay someone to listen to me? Or I can just talk to my friend. Right? We are not there just to listen to you. We're also not there to be your friend. Like, I have over 10 years, I think, of college level training in this specific area, right? Therapists we're trained with tools. We have a lot of information. We're trying to help you understand how your brain thinks. So it's more than just listening. So when people actually understand, when they hear my like 4 years undergrad, 3 years for a dual master's, 2 years post-degree. I did part of a PhD. Like, we're doing a lot before we actually get into the field.
Right.
And that's another thing, like, with the whole, like, yes, it helps if you've been through certain experiences. It's like an ace up your sleeve where you can build a relationship quicker. But outside of that, we're really well trained. Like, even to become licensed, you have to get like 2,000 hours before they even let you do real work of hands-on stuff. So when people fully understand what therapy is and what it isn't, it's a lot easier for them to understand, like, hey, same way you go to a cardiologist for heart issues, when you're having emotional issues or things are going wrong with your thinking, why wouldn't you go to the expert that can help you understand the brain, right? Like I bet you have a trainer, right?
No.
In the beginning.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I had multiple head coaches. Yes.
Because you didn't know anything.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Like, it's crazy what the body can do.
Right.
And you go, and we're okay. Men will spend lots of money to look physically well.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Or to defend themselves, to take jujitsu, Muay Thai, all of that. Yet, the thing that's running the whole fucking show,
100% correct.
We're scared to look at.
Yeah.
With the expert that can help you understand. Like, there's so many just cool little psychological tricks that can help people understand their brain and just like addiction, depression, it naturally tells you to do things that aren't good for you. Just that one concept can free a lot of people. Like, if I'm depressed, I'm going to not want to get out of bed every morning.
Right.
And every time I do, I get more depressed. versus when I go against it, if I know that's what the depression's saying, I actually feel better.
So you're speaking with so much knowledge now because obviously been there, done that, went through all the years of education, but you had also mentioned that you are a recovering patient yourself from everything that you've been through. And you mentioned just now, a couple minutes ago, that is a nice little ace up your sleeve, at times. Let's talk about that ace a little bit, so that some people, those watching, can see like you really are the proof in the pudding. This isn't just you had a bad weed smoking habit and you broke it and now here you are. No, there's a lot of layers to it. I don't expect you to say it all, but can you take us down that path of when was it that you started going down the wrong path and what it took for you to finally get your shit together? Because it was multiple, I'm going to say it, multiple arrests, multiple court issues and things of that nature before you finally got your shit together. Can you give us a little brief summary about that?
Of course. I always tell people, like, I'm the real deal. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's a big defier too when people come into my office for addiction. We're looking like, are you a heavy user or do you have the brain addiction of the brain disease of addiction? And my story says the brain disease of addiction just because there's so much evidence that I definitely have an issue with alcohol and drugs. But I mean, I also have an issue with mental health. So I have depression, I have anxiety, I have autism. I just found out like 3 years ago. ADHD, dyslexia, and trauma. A lot of trauma that I didn't really recognize because I was so involved with alcohol and drugs for so long. You completely black out all these very significant traumatic experiences that happened. But my use started around 12 years old. I grew up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is like a party town. Everybody I know used some type of thing. Like drinking is a part of the life. It's like that Southern old school bullshit of like, we all drink beer.
Right.
Everybody I know drank and drove. People own nightclubs. Like we were in strip clubs at like 15 and 16 years old. Like it's wild because I have a 14-year-old now. I have 3 kids, and I like look at her and I go, it's like really sad to imagine that little version of you
was doing that.
And in these really dark places with really little adult supervision. Like my parents had this model, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody.
Okay.
But it was like, and most parents do, it's this belief they put on the blinders and they don't want to see that their child is sick. Right. Like it's very hard to admit because most parents go to the fundamental piece that they did something wrong versus, oh, maybe he just has stuff. So like, I didn't know about any of the mental health stuff, right? I just assumed I was like a shy kid that thought too much and was a little different. Like looking back when I finally was diagnosed with autism, like my whole childhood made so much fucking sense.
Did it?
Oh my God. Like I had so much trouble making friends. I would always try to like, I remember trying to like, you mask a lot of stuff. So you watch like regular people and try to figure out how to be like a normal human. So I remember like watching guys be mean to girls. Like that guy that can kind of be like a dick.
There's a few of them in my group.
Yeah. And they get the chick.
Yeah, they do.
So I tried that. Like I remember in 6th grade doing that shit like from this one guy, and it worked terribly. Like it was the complete opposite. But the underlying mental health stuff definitely triggered and caused me to get into heavy substances. Like I remember the first time I used, I was like, I want to feel like this all the time. And you know, it progressed really quickly. There was a lot of availability for me. And like from smoking swag weed, I remember that brick, terrible, so seedy weed, to finally being introduced to the kind bud. Remember KB, we used to call that shit back in the day, to, you know, heavy alcohol use. That was a thing in the South. It's like the more you could drink, the better. Another fundamentally flawed idea of manhood. Right?
Yeah.
You should be able to drink 12 beers. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. So that progressed into prescriptions were heavy with me when I was young. We had way too many connects, and like no knowledge. Like I would just buy all the pills and just take random shit. Like the fact I'm alive is crazy. Because I also started drinking and driving around that age, and that continued until I was like 26. But it progressed.
But even in that process of having these vices of yours,
Yes.
you still wanted to get into this field?
So my father was, he has a PhD in psychology. He was a very well-known therapist where I'm from. He also worked for Myrtle Beach Police Department for like 30 years. So I was always intrigued by therapy because I grew up around it. And I grew up around a lot of people that would also like mention my father. Like they were very open about the fact that my dad helped them. So it was cool to see this guy helping people. And if you have any type of mental health or addiction, you want to know what the fuck's going on with your head. Like there was a deep down craving for me to understand why I thought the way I did. So I always liked it and I wanted to do it. I was super intimidated by my father, so I never brought it up as a young kid. I was really lost. You know, like most of us, I think that's another fundamentally broken idea. It's like that kids should know what they want to do at 18.
Crazy.
Like,
no, and married and everything by 22.
Yeah.
With your first kid at 25. Like, it's an insane old school way. I've been saying it for a while, Danny. You know, there was a meme going around for a while back that I haven't seen it in ages, but it's traditions. It's in definition form. Tradition equals dead people's opinion.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to shit on traditions. I know that there's good traditions out there, whether it's, you know, for family eating, something that you do yearly, so on and so forth. But those old school traditions of what you said, 1950s, when we had it wrong, when we thought, you know, a real man does this and doesn't do that and all that whoop-de-woo, fast forward and we realize that, you know, that's not working. These old ways need to be changed for real and quickly.
Well, we should be questioning things. Like what happened to conversations? I think it's one of the things that's fucked up with us politically is we used to talk. Like when I grew up, I remember Democrats and Republicans, we could have conversations without people getting so angry that somebody else has a different opinion than you. Like traditions are great, but let's talk about them. Let's actually see if this fundamentally still holds a truth, or should we adjust things, you know? And for a lot of us, we've just gone. Like my whole driving mechanism when I was growing up was to make money. I grew up with a father who did very well. We lived in a very nice house. Like it's another piece of like the addiction pie. Like you can have the picket fence and the nice house and the money and still develop this brain disease. That's why I think it's a brain disease, because I technically didn't have like some traumatic event that happened
that should cause you to go that route. Right.
So, you know, that was another piece of the addiction is I did well in life. Like there weren't a lot of red flags early on for me. So like I graduated high school with very good grades. So I got into the only college I applied for. So until like that was my first misstep, was the college arrest.
Sorry for the interruption, guys. But here's your friendly reminder. If you really want to show love and you're really digging this podcast as well as the other ones that I produce, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, push that like, and why don't you share this with a friend or family member? Appreciate all the support, and let's get back to the podcast. You're first. You said first.
Oh, yeah. First major arrest.
Sounds like there was several there, Daniel.
Listen, yes. If you're a true drug addict, right, we don't learn easily. We don't learn quickly. There's a reason they call AA the last house on the block, because we don't usually get there until we experience a lot of pain. So, like, I always tell families, too, when they come in with someone with addiction, I'm like, listen, addiction's like an alphabet. You know, most people usually don't get sober to like letter M or N. And like right now we're at A, B, or C. And it's really hard for them to accept that because it's a painful process, you know? Like I was at Clemson, a successful student, and we decided that it would be a great idea to rob a drug dealer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
save some money, you know?
People see my like face and like, what the fuck? You? Yeah, me. I did that. Yeah, we knew he was out of town. We were all very hooked on cocaine, and we decided, and if you're a true terrible criminal drug addict, you also know like you have very faulty ideas about crime, like
how it goes and what you're supposed to do.
Like, oh, the drug dealer won't report this to the police. He's a drug dealer. He would want to keep it in the streets, and like, no, he fucking called the cops. So, so that was a mess. I was removed from college. I had my first real stint at sobriety. I was sober for 6 months, but my only intention in sobriety was to get back to Clemson and go back to life. So I knew enough to play the game where it's like, all right, I don't want to go to prison. That was number one. What can I do to comply with the court system, also comply with my family and let them believe I'm going to be okay? And also, I was in complete denial. I did not think I had a problem with drugs or alcohol. I thought I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I managed to make it through. Everything goes well. And this is also like an insane point. While I was doing my first offender program, I was arrested 2 more times.
Jeez.
Yeah. For minor possession of alcohol. Like it showed the evidence was building that I had a real problem. But again, I just wrote it off as wrong place, wrong time. And then I showed people enough success that they allowed me to go right back to life. And, you know, the 6 months I maintained, and I was slow to get back into the other things. But eventually, if you're a real addict, they all come back. So, but graduated college, moved to Atlanta because I wanted to make money, and I had no idea what I was going to do. My sisters lived there, so they helped me out. I got into TV advertising sales, which provided some money, but I really did not enjoy that role. I'm not like a salesperson. I hated the like backstabbing that happened over some TV commercials. And then 2008, the economy started to crash. We lost a bunch of business, and I remember my boss blatantly telling me, she's like, listen, you'll keep this job, but you'll never get promoted. And I was like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And there was multiple attempts during that period, of course, to not do drugs. Like I'll be like, I'll drink. I never thought I'd give up drinking, but I'm not going to do illicit drugs anymore.
Is drinking the last thing that addicts consider an addiction? Like obviously there's for instance, what's a very uncommonly known fact about addictions that most addicts will not admit? Like what's an addiction that people do not think that they have, but it's a lot more common than what people know?
Work.
Really? So workaholics.
Oh my God.
Interesting.
Big time.
And then when you say work, do you say work or do you say the stress of work?
No, work.
Just work itself.
Yeah.
And porn as well.
Porn is huge nowadays. The evolution of porn has been crazy, right? It is.
Talk to us about that. What is the problem why do you think most men are reaching to porn? Mm-hmm. What is the typical scenario of what type of man is doing and how bad is it? Because I've seen celebrities who are spending $10,000 a day on fucking OF, and it's like, oh, yeah. You're a good looking dude who's a celebrity. Why don't you just go get some? So explain that.
It's
right.
different. It's
that doesn't feed
the
the need there.
No,
yeah.
No. So we got to remember the evolution of porn, which is a big piece, right? It went from theaters to VHS. And even with the VHS, when I was young, you had to go to a bookstore in the middle of the country. That was like
for you youngsters, VHS is a video, okay?
It's
the big ass, blockbuster fucking tank of a lunchbox.
And most people only had one VHS, VCR, which you played
VCR,
in the living room. Yeah. So like we had to go to what we called an adult bookstore, which was like a shady cement block building that you went to in the middle of the night. You had to be over 18 to actually purchase it. And you bought one tape, and it was like $80. Mm-hmm. So we went from that, and also you couldn't just watch the VHS whenever you wanted. You had to like be sick, and I'm gonna miss church, so my whole family leaves, and then you sneak into the living room and watch your one tape, right? So we went from that to the DVD, and then the internet happened, right? And the explosion that this thing that wasn't available a lot.
Now it's so accessible.
So accessible. Like the whole tube site invention has been crazy. That's when, like, for people that don't know tube sites, it's basically the YouTube of porn. So we went from having limited access to billions and billions and billions of videos. I think more people access porn than like any other website. I have the data, but it's crazy. It's like the number one thing that people go to. So there's a few things that happen when you're getting this, right? So like the brain is not used to seeing that much availability. And we're talking like 4K high def videos.
Right.
This doesn't even compare to real sex. And also they're performers. So what you're feeding your brain is a illusion. It's not real. Like if anybody, I know people that have been to porn sets, right? And it ruins their view of it.
When they've actually visited a recording, what they do.
Because the people are not happy,
Right.
This is not
Forceful,
the
everything.
fluid sexual act that it looks like on camera.
Right.
It's a job for them, right? And most of these people are not happy with having to do this all day. And the reality of the performers is not what a real man or woman does. You know what I mean? So you're giving your brain this illusion of sex that's not real.
So is that where it becomes a fantasy, and that's why a lot of men get hooked on it, because it's unattainable, because it's not real? Like typically the female in the video, assuming we're talking heterosexual, video, the woman is typically at least a 7 or better, 8 or better,
yeah.
great body, this, that, whatever. The man is typically decent looking, but he's probably hung like a horse. What is it that gets men to want to watch that? Is it because, man, I can't get that type of girl, but I want to imagine that I did? Like, what's the common denominator by the majority of the men that you deal with that have this addiction to porn?
So remember, like, it's not even about, they get to look specifically for what they want.
Right.
So, right, I don't have to go out and find a person and go on a date and then bring up my weird fetish. I can literally Google anything and get deep, deep, deep into any specific genre I want. So there's not a lot of effort to get the sexual experience and the reward, right? So the brain likes that, but it produces, like, there's a pleasure pain balance in the brain. Dopamine Nation's a great book if you want to read about it, right? Every time you experience pleasure, the brain has to counteract it with a little bit of pain. It's always trying to be at homeostasis. The body likes to be at homeostasis, right? So when you induce a lot of pleasure, guess what it makes? A lot of synthetic pain. It's why working out works the opposite way.
Right. You have the muscle
Pain.
soreness and everything afterwards, right?
Well, you have the pain in the beginning.
Okay.
And then the pleasure comes. You feel really good after your workout, right? Even with a little bit of the soreness, overall, I bet you're always like, I'm very happy I exercised today. I never regret it. Versus when we do a lot of dopamine in the beginning and then we get the negative effects, it's like eating McDonald's. You always feel like shit after you go to McDonald's. You're never like, I'm so happy I had that double cheeseburger.
So post-climatic
that's a real thing.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, after you hit your peak, whatever that is, your climax of any sort, whether it's the McDonald's, a sexual act or something, that's when the negative part comes up. Is that what you're alluding to right now? So that's when, because what? You feel the shame, you feel something else?
Yeah, and also we're getting large releases of chemicals in the brain, right? If you're doing a synthetic thing like just the porn, the sound, the visual, the interaction nowadays that you get, the unlimited nature, like you can keep this going for hours. I know men that will masturbate to the point of pain, right? And then porn has also grown into the OF, the online stripper. Nowadays, you can have a full-on relationship with a woman you're paying over the internet, and it's gotten to the point where they hook up tools. Like, with this AI piece coming.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
It's unmatched. It's not a real experience. That's what they're selling, though.
Let me go just
a
tad bit further. With all this said, do you think that once these robots, you have a fleshlight.
Dude, it's happening.
You guys, fellas, know what the fleshlight is. Women, ladies, if you guys don't know what a fleshlight is, it's basically a cylinder object that is imitating a woman's vagina, and a man strokes his shit with that device, so it's an imitation of vagina. Now, if that's what men are already doing, and I've had friends who have actually used it, good-looking friends who can get girls, and they'll just have that because they'd rather do that than just a regular masturbate. So is it easy to see that if they put that fucking fleshlight, what they call a fleshlight, onto a robot?
It's there, dude. It's already there.
It's already there. People are already pumping half-bodied fucking things, right?
Dude, have you not seen it?
Me thinking about it. No, I don't see it, dude. I don't try to look that shit up. It's like two women in a cup. Like, no fucking way.
I always joke, like, you're going to have to burn my phone if I die because my search history and my algorithms, because of what I do.
Okay.
It can be dark, but yeah, they're there. It will be there. Yeah, and then what happens to relationships? Right?
Yeah, so that's my second part, right? Well, how do they deal with it? What do these men do, especially if they're in relationships, married, girlfriend, something like that? What do they do next? Obviously, aside from seek help with you.
Well, listen, we do a full analysis. If you come in for porn addiction, we look at your whole life, right? And it's a big deal to It's like I have some guys that can't be on electronics at all. You know what I mean?
Because they're just going to shoot right to it?
Every time. And what happens too is it's like how you go from marijuana to shooting heroin. They tend to get into the more illegal and morally questionable stuff because what I call the National Geographic titty isn't doing it for you anymore, right? And
I love that.
We know it though, because like when I was 12, that did it. And now the severity of what's happening in pornography, like every chick's taking it in the ass. I don't know if you've been online.
Yeah. Like if they don't do it, like you're lame. Or you're supposed to do that now.
They're like 10-person gangbangs. Like the extreme nature is also disrupting the sexual relationship. I know men that rather be masturbating with pornography than have sex with their wife.
That's wild.
Yeah. That's how powerful it is. Like we forget that this shit is a drug. You know what I mean? There's an illusion around it. It's like anything, and I'm not like banning pornography,
okay,
but you guys need to understand what it's doing, right? It's like I like Coca-Cola. I'll have half a Coke maybe once a day, but I understand what it is. I understand caffeine. I understand sugar. I understand that it is a drug.
So let me put you on the spot because you just did that, respectfully, because
Yeah.
I want to speak for the people out there who obviously would bust my balls if I didn't do this, okay?
Of course.
So Coca-Cola, by the way, fucking evil as hell. Probably as bad, if not worse, than pornography, in my opinion, because of all the chemicals it has, how bad it's for you, the dyes,
fructose.
high fruit, everything you just named, right?
Yeah.
So an intelligent man who's had his own addictions, who's still battling, who's still recovering, yet you flirt with that because you think or know that you got it under control because you have a balance of only sipping that half a soda, however often it is, once a day, every couple of days. What makes that different from the individual who says, well, Daniel, I just want to see porn every 2 or 3 days. That way, when I sleep with my wife, who I've been with for 25 years, I can imagine that girl in the porn before I sleep with my wife because we do it every Wednesday or Friday. And I have a good balance on that. Same comparison to the person, myself. I'm a weed smoker. Yeah. You said, weed leads to fucking crack or meth. Well, yeah, you're right. Immediately, I was like, oh, God, that's horrible. I would never. Yeah. But everybody's different. So how do you address those people? Because if you had you in front of you saying what you're saying, how would you address him to say, hey, Daniel, but that half a soda can lead to,
Here it is. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to give you the answer. I don't do it alone.
Okay, please elaborate.
So my life is an open book for a lot of people. So what I used to do is I would do all these behaviors and they would all be secretive. Only I knew what I was doing, right? So yes, Coca-Cola 100% could lead me back to a relapse. I'm not going to bullshit, right? Okay. Like I tell people, if you catch me eating Wendy's like 3 or 4 times a week, I'm in a fucked up space.
Okay, we need to fix it now.
Yes. It's not that I'm going to go fucking shoot heroin tomorrow. But that is, like, addiction always has it. Relapses don't happen overnight. Don't let anybody fool you that they just picked up a drink.
Right.
There was a lot of precursors and a lot of behavior that were happening beforehand. So what I do is I have a large network of support. I was in 2 therapy sessions yesterday. I spent over $400 on myself in therapy.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a couple session, and then I had an individual session. So I have a lot of people that are heavily involved in what I do. And I have a willingness to involve them in all aspects of my life, even the ones that might be a little scary or shameful or X, Y, and Z. Like I've quit porn multiple times in my life. And guess what? I tell a lot of people. So that for me is the saving grace. If you're willing to include others in your life that you truly trust and have healthy relationships, especially experts, they can help guide you so these things don't become a bigger issue. It's like when clients come in, I never know whether you're an addict right off the bat, right? There's some like key markers and way you talk and think that can kind of point one way or the other. But what we do is a data analysis. I go, hey, we're going to set some rules, right? We're going to see how well you actually do with the 2 times a week watching porn. Are you able to hold that boundary? Because there's certain things that will happen for the guy that can't versus the one that does. Like even in what you told me too, like the flawed piece for me, the one that stuck out was that he has to think about the other girl before he fucks his wife.
Exactly.
Like, why? What's going on? Why aren't you talking to your wife? Why aren't you requesting those things you want with her? Why are you having secrets? Like, why aren't we improving that sex life first before we're going to the alternative?
Do you really feel, I don't want to get off topic. I think it's kind of on topic, but
Whatever you want.
I've never been in that situation. I don't want to put you in on the spotlight like such, but when I hear about people, they've been with somebody 15 years or more, they could both be physically active. They can both have high testosterone level, libido's high, everything's good, but they've been together for so long. Do you think that they're always supposed to have that transparency? And you think a good relationship, no, you shouldn't look at no porn. You should be able to always enjoy sex with this woman that you've been having sex with for the last 30 years. And it should get up just as easy. And it should, everything should be whatever. If you pan things out, talk about it, so on and so forth. Do you really think that that is the euphoric, goal?
So I don't think that's for everybody.
But it's possible.
I do think it's possible. And I think, I've learned one thing about my brain. My brain likes to do the harder thing. I get the most pleasure out of a challenge. That's the way I'm wired. A relationship is the hardest thing we do as people.
Preach.
There's nothing harder.
Yep.
Right? That's why when people tell me about open relationships, I'm like, oh, fuck. It's not that I don't want you to do it. I just know the reality of how hard I work on my marriage, and I have a lot of assistance. So I think I get more rewards through having that one relationship with someone. Like last night, I'll be honest, me and her, we had a real honest conversation that was difficult. We both did not say shit we liked to hear. It's one of the things me and my wife do 3 times a week. We do what we call a check-in. So it's basically you set a timer, you get 5 minutes, they listen and hear you, and then you give them 5 minutes to listen and be heard. But the goal is to be completely transparent and honest, to not just people please. I'm actually going to tell you what I'm frustrated with, what's hard, what's not. We have some disagreements on co-parenting ideas of the iPad, whether or not the 3-year-old gets the iPad.
No,
we're both very passionate. I have a more logical, game plan, strategic thing, and she has a very, there's a bunch of fear, and she knows the difficulty of when the iPad comes. But I know at the end of the day, what we can have is more meaningful for me if I'm willing to do the work, right? Now, does it mean that this other thing, pornography, masturbation, never comes into play? Of course not, right? But I try to do the more challenging thing more often.
We all have heard that communication is key in our relationships, right? So that's business, workship, friendship, intimate relationships, so on and so forth. You're saying, what I'm getting from what you're saying is, if you're willing to admit, or at least be transparent, that you are doing this vice, whatever it is, porn twice a week, eating shitty, whatever it is, that transparency is one step closer to not feeling the shame because you're holding it all to yourself. And this is one of those steps that help you go in the right direction. Is that what I'm getting from this?
Yeah, it's the beginning process, and it's that willingness to say, maybe I don't know everything, that maybe these other people can actually see some shit I can't. I can't see everything about me. Why do you think I pay all these people all this money for therapy? We are kind of blind in a lot of aspects. We call it shadow work sometimes. These are the hidden pieces of us that we don't like to admit. So the more willingness I am to have those people see me and openness to hear their feedback, it helps me grow. I want to grow as a human. That's
right.
Part of my goal. That's part of my philosophy of life is it's not attainment of this stuff anymore, which is nice. I'm not saying material shit isn't I got shit on. I like it. But can I help my soul grow? Can I push those limits? Because that actually makes me feel good.
You personally?
Yes.
You personally seeing the growth and taking these challenges on.
Yes. Listen, it would be so easy at times. I do have the fantasy of buying the condo on Las Olas and being single and buying the Porsche and just fucking dating the 22-year-old. I know how long it would last.
Right.
I would be very bored in a few weeks. and then I would regret
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Like raising kids, fucking hard. But guess what? Most rewarding thing I do.
Right.
You can't fucking match that fucking hug of my daughter, 3 years old, comes up to me every morning and goes, wait, don't leave. Hug and kiss before I leave every fucking morning.
Yeah. Unconditional love. It's awesome.
Love.
Right.
But that's hard, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're here talking about porn as of right now. Would you say that that's the biggest unknown addiction in modern society today, or is there something worse? Is there a couple of more worse than that?
Gambling's getting nasty.
Really?
Oh my God. Gambling's a fucked up thing too. So
and I would assume that one of the reasons it's gotten so nasty is because of the accessibility, right? Technology.
And most people
sites.
don't understand it. Again, there's some just fundamental pieces of gambling that are fucked up. Your brain gets higher when you lose than when you win.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
The science is behind that.
That's science behind that. Also, there's science behind the fact your brain loves bigger odds, right? So slot machines.
Can I get this? Because that's a challenge, right?
Slot machines, parlays, like the bigger the odd, the bigger the rush you get from playing. So psychologically, like you actually want to lose and you want to play shitty odds that cause you to lose. So dude, I watch people. I had a dude lose $1 million in a week.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. We used to not be able to talk about gambling, and now it's pretty much every state has some sports bet.
Yep.
Right. It's kids are talking about it in school, college. It's the accessibility of being able to lose vast amount of money in a second. From day trading to gambling is huge. There's so many I think we're not talking about. Porn's huge, gambling's huge, workaholics are huge, drugs and alcohol are always going to be big. Yeah, those would be the main ones I see.
And for the most part, are you seeing this more in men than you are in women, or is that just because that's where you're zoned into? But numerically wise, statistically speaking, I know that men's mental health is something that's being highlighted now, and it's not to disregard the women, but is that an actual accurate assessment that men are facing more mental health issues than women?
I would say statistically women are probably facing more because there's more data, because women are more willing to talk about it.
So the men are holding back on it, and that's why we don't have enough yet.
Yes. But when we do look at things like porn addiction, we have way more data on men. Men are actually more open to talk about their pornography use. We know that women have sex addiction and that women are addicted to porn also, but the data on that side is less telling.
What is it? So the women, are you seeing that women are just as addicted to porn or no? And if it's not, why is it? Why is it that men want to cling on to the porn more than the women do?
Well, women have more of an emotional connection when it comes to sex, right? Like,
right.
You can fuck your wife if you're mad. My wife does not want to fuck me if she's mad.
Right. That is a great fucking analogy, dude, but it makes so much sense. Okay, yeah.
Listen, I also think that we have, as men, a difficult view of sex. I think especially, I see this a lot with gay men, there's almost an entitlement to sex. Like we were meant to fuck. Like it's ingrained in us. And that can cause like this toxic sexuality where it's like owed to us. Like that's part of who we are. Like I like sex, of course. But at what point does it become a dominating feature or a dominating aspect of our personality? Or like certain people, you probably know some dudes that are like heavy into fucking is their life.
Right. We have one in the group and we're like, dude, you're putting too much emphasis on that. Like, wow, why so much? Yeah. Some people, I guess, wired differently on that note.
Well, they buy in. It just becomes like too much of who they are. It's like anytime that happens with any person, it's a lot if that's your whole personality. Like
Right.
if you were just an MMA coach, like that's all you talked about, it'd be pretty boring.
Right. Sorry for the interruption, ladies and gentlemen, but if you're really liking this podcast as well as the others prior to it, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button, push that like, and go ahead and share this with some friends and family. Thank you for all the support, and let's get back to the podcast. Okay, Daniel, well, I want to ask you a couple of questions. I want to get into some details, some questions that society has, that the majority of the world has, and something that I truly as a nobody, but
Right.
you know, my research, my studies, my YouTube and everything
Yeah.
else, I'm no specialist. How much of what people are going through today, especially we're kind of zoning in on men, but in general, how much of that is trauma based off of some type of childhood trauma, some type of childhood upbringing? You said way earlier, children learn by watching their parents, not by listening to them. So
Yes.
how much of that plays a significant role or the biggest role in the issues that people are dealing with now?
So let's start with the idea of what trauma is.
Okay.
Trauma is very personal, right? This is a big thing for men, especially. They don't want to classify certain things as traumatic, but
Takes away from their manhood.
anything could be traumatic. The traumatic experience isn't the big thing. It's what happened because of it, how it affected you, right? Let's say you lost a pet when you were a little kid. Maybe for you, not a big deal, but for me, it could have been traumatic.
Right.
So one of our great understandings is for you guys to all recognize that your trauma could not be the exact same as my trauma, and it could still be traumatic. So it's a big deal to be able to be open to the possibility that these things were more impactful than you thought. It's one of the great benefits of having children. I get to relive childhood experiences directly through my kids.
Vicariously.
So I get to see my little girl flip her shit because she doesn't have a stuffed animal, right? But my memory, one of the shitty parts of the adult part of us is that we forget about those things. We forget what it felt like and what it was like to X, Y, and Z. And then you see the little girl at 3
It reminds
losing.
you.
Yeah. And you go, oh, fuck, maybe that divorce was a little bit more impactful. Maybe, you know, not having as many friends did impact me more than I like to think. Because I'm a big advocate. I think childhood was everything, right? So I think the way we are as an adult is a direct impact.
That makes me feel better now, 'cause I've always thought that.
Yeah,
you know?
from how we
at
were
least the
raised.
majority. At least the majority of it.
Well, there's no way for it not to. Like, your brain is soaking up so much material as you grow that that's how it's learning. That's how it's forming. Your core belief systems, your philosophies of life are all becoming or all growing out of those experiences that you have as a kid. And, you know, if we don't have anyone to talk about it, it becomes very normalized that these pretty, you know, traumatic things happen to everybody.
Do you think that loneliness plays a significant role in that? Like, might it be, when I say loneliness, it could be they didn't have siblings. It could be a one-parent household, things of that nature. Does that play a significant role as well?
Of course. So if you had parents that didn't talk, right? I call them turtles sometimes, the introverts. You have turtles and tigers. Tigers are the big loud ones, and then turtles go in the shell. But if you learn as a child to hold things in, like I learned, and again, this is not anything about my parents, I learned early on it was way better to keep it in because I didn't burden my parents as much, right? They had a lot going on. I had 2 other siblings. My dad ran businesses. My mother was overwhelmed by taking care of the 3 kids. So I learned that it was way easier for me to sit in my room and watch TV. Like we all had TVs in our room, which is a weird thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't have one in my room on purpose.
It isolates, especially children. So like I learned it was way easier to keep shit in. Like when I was like 14 or 15, I remember I threw a party at my house and the cops came and like my dad flipped. I told him the exact truth of what happened and he decided to like call everybody from my high school and tell them they were doing drugs and drinking. Yeah, I was like labeled the rat. So what do you think I learned early on?
But your dad was a cop, and he was, yeah.
I learned to lie. I go, oh, telling the truth's not good at all.
Right.
So I'm never going to tell him the truth again.
Bam.
And that carried on fucking the majority of my life. I lied to everybody about everything. So yeah, if you learn early on to not talk, you're very isolated. Like it's a killer for a human being to not talk. We need this. And then you're only relying on one source of information to judge things, your fucking own experience, your own brain. Like that's very hard.
You had mentioned something that's also very hard earlier, and that's relationships. Matter of fact, you said that's one of, if not, the number one toughest thing, right?
Yes.
Why is it? Why are relationships so hard to maintain and well balanced in? Even if it starts well, gets well, why is it so hard to maintain? What is it that's going on in both parties that makes a relationship, like, it's so rare to hear like, nah, man, we get along great, and so on and so forth. We might just little bicker, but nothing else. That's a very rare thing. It's the complete opposite. When the women get together, my husband and and when the men get together, fucking, I left my wife this and that. I just want to go fishing. I just want to go have a beer, whatever. Why?
Okay, so it comes back to a few pieces. One, you got to remember who's raising us, right? So the same issues that are related to men and women growing up with these poor models of what life's supposed to be, we still have those. And then we have people that had those models that get together and then have those together as kids and as they raise. So it's like we have fundamentally broken pieces that pair up and try to do something that they have to be together. It's like, oh, fuck, if they didn't do the work, then how can this thing work? Like I tell people, if you want your relationship to work, you should be doing individual counseling because it's a big reflection. A lot of the things in a relationship are just mirrors. They're just us portraying or projecting our own shit onto our partner, right? There's a great saying. It's like, it's always about me, right? It's never really about any of you guys. It's just you guys are reflecting shit I don't want to see.
Right.
And that happens in a relationship very often, right? It's so easy to point the finger and go, you, versus like, what do I own? What's my piece? Right? So if we have a bunch of people that haven't done the work that are trying to make this other thing work, it's very difficult. It's very hard. So I think as we become open to the therapy world, relationships are going to get easier. As each component gets healthier, the whole as a system will get healthier.
So you keep mentioning therapy, and we know as a society that that's something that we should all seek for, but there's obviously...
It should be mandatory from birth.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how much you're strung hard on it.
1,000%. The
really?
Same way that your kid goes to 6 month, 9 month, 2 year, like they should have psychological. One, I think testing is amazing. I think for like there's some fundamental fucked up pieces of therapy right now with the way the medical system works, right? If you use insurance, this is why I don't take it. You have to be diagnosed within your first session, which is almost impossible. It's why we use a lot of things like F43.23, which is an adjustment disorder, basically saying like, hey, something happened in your life and you responded, right? With anxiety or depression usually are the two. But if you're using any type of major insurance, that goes into your little chart. And for a lot of people, we have lazy providers. So that gets stuck to you for the rest of your experience. And then you buy into it. Like a lot of people buy into their labels. Oh, I have depression. So they become a depressed person, right? I'm anxious. So I become an anxious person and not allowing it to fully work. So I love I guess I just had a little brain fart.
Well, the therapy part,
Yeah.
them seeking therapy. So what's the biggest misconception that people have about therapy?
That you have to be broken, that you have to be in crisis, that there's something fundamentally wrong with you, that somehow you are not normal if you're to seek help.
And it's pretty obvious, I think, that you feel strongly therapy will change somebody's life, regardless of how long it might take. It's something that we all need, especially those who have dealt with something.
Would you build a house by yourself?
No, exactly. Right.
Same concept, dude. Do you have a financial person?
Not yet, but I know I do. I need to.
You need to,
Yeah.
right?
I just got a manager, and he's already busting my balls, and this is tough to deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Do you do your own taxes?
Yeah. No.
See? Like,
Right.
we're willing. Like, the concept is not new to humans that we should get experts to help us.
Right.
Right? It's like, why wouldn't we do it sooner? And some of the same excuses, they don't hold as much weight. Like, I've made more money in my life by spending more on the one thing I own. Like, this body, this mind, this is my greatest asset. This is the only thing I truly own. Why wouldn't I use every tool possible to make it the best version of itself? Especially as a father, as an entrepreneur, as a husband, knowing that I directly impact all these people. Like, that seems like a good investment.
That's right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It has to start with you, right? I mean, I just my last podcast, guys, we used the analogy of If you're in a plane and it's going to crash and that mask comes down, you have to put it on yourself before you do your kid, your wife, or anybody around you, because what good are you if you don't make it through? You know, you have to put that mask on yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's, you know, I definitely see that. What would you say is a harsh truth that most addicts at some point have to face?
That their way of doing things sucks, right? Like, if you're in control of your own life, as much as you might be successful over here, when it comes to addiction, you don't know shit. It's the hardest thing, is to surrender that possibility. Because I have guys that made, again, millions and millions of bucks. They were very successful in, you know, this area. But when it came to addiction, they don't know anything. And that willingness to surrender and take guidance, it's the number one factor in whether you get sober. Like, can I just shut the fuck up and listen to somebody else?
Right.
Like that's what kept me stuck. From 12 to 31, I was unwilling to take direction from other people. I knew best for me.
You said that you work, I don't want to say primarily, but a lot of your clients are highly professional, highly, you know, successful individuals. It doesn't matter how rich or wealthy or whatever, but we're talking about how, you know, professionals who do well for themselves.
Yes.
And they're pretty much hiding it.
Yep.
Behind, you know, their face, you know, whatever it is. Why is it that you think that wealthier people are going through this? I don't want to say much more, because I don't know that we know that, but why is it that they go through it as much as they do when things are so successful? Is it because everything came not at ease, because it's not an overnight success, you know, that never really exists, but is it because everything is too easy now and they need that challenge that you were talking about? They need that spike of dopamine, and it's no longer coming from here because I'm filthy rich. I already got a wife and kids. I got everything I want. I need to chase something. I need to capitalize on something. Can I still pull a young girl? Can I still close a deal? Is that safe to say, or what is the root behind all that?
I think there's some truth there. I think the boredom is a big factor for some people, of like, hey, what else am I going to do? I think a lot of it, with people that have abundance of resources, it prevents bottoms from happening, right? Like, one of the great things of why I didn't get sober for a long time is I'm a white man in America that came from a pretty well-to-do family.
Right.
Like, I had 13 felony charges in my lifespan criminal career. I've talked to other people.
Brother, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I thought I had a bunch. You got me double, tripled, bro.
Never convicted, only charged.
Oh, okay. I got you on that then. Nothing to brag about, but I got you on that.
I've talked to guys that are not from my background that went to prison for way less.
Right.
So my using career got extended because I had access to lawyers, because I had, you know, relationships. I knew judges. I had these things that prevented it from really crashing down in the way that a consequence should have hit me earlier. So, like, and it wasn't until my family completely cut me off and I was homeless and I lost everything and my license was pulled and I wasn't able to practice that I was able to finally surrender. Like, for most of the people with a bunch of abundance, they're never going to have the financial consequence, right? Like, the biggest one usually comes from a medical crisis. Your liver enzymes are through the chart. You're throwing up blood.
Right.
You had a stroke. Diabetes is happening. Or the family, usually a spouse, somebody is going, dude, I can't. Like, the drinking is out of control. Like, we can't have our kids see you like this. Those are usually the ones that hit.
You're a prime example. You're the proof in the pudding. You're a walking testimony. Okay. You had to deal with this, and here you are now. So what advice, or how would you tell people out there, how do you restructure your identity after going through this process? Because you, from 12 to 31, 32, you know, your peers, your family, your dad, who's obviously held at a high esteem, people already know fucking, Daniel's cool as shit, and he's doing some things, but man, he's still drinking, smoking, doing whatever. Some point you fixed it, but you have to face the choir. You got to face, the people like, hey, that's Danny. He's back. He's recovering, or is he recovering? Like, what would you suggest, or how would you kind of encourage people? Like, if you're going through this process right now, like I went through, you can still restructure your identity. This is how you bounce back. This is what I would suggest that you would do. What are some of those things, Danny?
So I had some great things happen to me. I had a funny story. I remember when I was coming to treatment, I was on a plane and I ran into a buddy of mine, and his family built all the Searses.
Sears. Woo.
So big construction dude. And he's like, "What are you doing going to Florida?" I was like, "I'm going to treatment." And he knew me as a licensed clinical professional.
Oh.
So he thought I was going to run a treatment center. And he's like, "Yo, when we get to Fort Lauderdale, hit me up. We'll go to dinner, ... And I was like, of course, just full of shame of just like.
Right. You didn't want to tell him at the time. Yeah.
Fuck no, dude. And that always set with me because it was like one of the first layers to kind of come off. So one of the best things that happened to me was losing everything, because I was so attached to a bunch of identities, right? From like 12 to 24, I was the party guy. You know, I always had drugs on me. I was just high, drunk all the time, and people knew me as that. That was my identity. Then when I became a licensed professional counselor in Georgia, that was my new thing. You would know I was a therapist within 2 minutes of meeting me. Like, that's what I led with. So when I came to 31 and everything was pulled, it was the first time I just had to be Daniel. And I had to like really learn to like him and be okay. I even remember when I was getting sober, like a few months in, I reached out to my former PhD program because I was so lost. I was like a naked little boy in the world. And I was like, oh, I'll go finish my PhD. At least I'll be a doctoral candidate. And thankfully, they took like a month to readmit me because I hated doing my PhD. Like, I like learning, but I hate the fucking papers and teaching and all that bullshit. And I was just so desperate for a new identity that I was grasping to anything. And I realized in that month, I was like, oh, I really don't want to do that. I need to become comfortable with this guy. Like, I had no car. I lived in halfway. I waited tables at a diner. Like, there was nothing to brag about in a sense. And I had to learn to be comfortable. Like, sobriety is what we call like a rebirth for a lot of people. And it's one of the really cool rebirths because I realized kind of what was the bullshit, what really mattered and what really didn't. Like, yeah, I attained a bunch of shit earlier, but it never really made me happy. Like, how am I actually going to build a philosophy of life, a belief system that produces genuine happiness without all that toxicity? And I love that piece today because now everything in life is kind of like a bonus. It's like I'm happy, but I don't have to have a big bank account. Like, if it comes in, cool. Like, money's awesome.
Right, of course.
Why not? Like, I'm okay in my house. I'm okay with my businesses. Like, if you took it all away today, I would be okay. It's like, it's an amazing lesson, like, when your worst fear comes true.
Right.
Like, losing money in a house and all, that was my biggest fucking fear of, like, I used to not leave my house unless I had, like, $1,000 in my pocket. Like, I had, you know, that, like, that financial insecurity, like, where you have to be the guy.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's okay.
And what okay, so now that's something that you went through personally, and now you've reached this point, but what do you, and I'm going to use myself as an example, you know, my manager, Wes, kind of, you know, gave me a little check about a week ago, put me in check, you know, and he was telling me basically, he was giving me compliments by telling me, listen, dude, you're a hyper-focused guy and you're very ambitious. And it's true. You know, I'm fucking so many damn ideas going through my head. I want to attack this one, I want to attack that one, especially now with AI. I'm like, oh shit, I got to do this, you know. On the way back from a vacation that I had with my friends a week ago, on the drive back, an idea hit me and I started putting it into my notes, and my brother, doing the manly shit, what are you doing? And I tell him what I'm doing. He goes, the fuck? And he clowns on me for, you know, trying to do that. Much love to my brother, just being him. And, you know, it made me realize, man, I thought back to what Wes said. Here I go. I'm in the middle of a conversation, driving. We're like 4 hours in driving, coming back down south, and I'm doing this. It just kind of like put a quick spotlight. He told me not to do this type of stuff. Now I want to ask you, is too much ambition unchecked a problem? Really?
It's the same as the work addiction. Like,
right, that's right. That kind of goes side by side with it.
We're not giving ourselves the time to pause. Like, sobriety was one of the best things ever, was just the pause. Like, the state of Georgia would not let me be a licensed therapist for a year for sure. They said, motherfucker, slow down. And I had to go, like, wait tables. You know how many nights I just sat, like, in silence in a halfway house, kind of just reflecting on the reality of my life, going, how did I get here? And most of us are so busy, we're doing 100 things at once, right? Like even in our cars, you can watch as you drive down, 95, everybody in their, and now we have AI assistants that are working for us. Like that's one of the toxic pieces too with the work is we're connected all the time. I don't know anybody that doesn't work for somebody that they're not on call 24/7. We get emails, phone calls, text, faxes, 24/7. Your brain is thinking about something all the time. There's value in not thinking. There's value in doing nothing.
Yes.
The system needs to relax. It needs to rest. Rest is actually something. I tell my clients all the time.
It makes total sense. I mean, what is yoga classes, monk type of work, breathing work, holistic type work, meditation, it kind of falls in that, hey, take a break and just
go
disconnect.
Outside, take your shoes off,
ground yourself,
sit in a chair and stare at a tree. Right? I'll notice, I'll be like in my garden and I'll reach in my pocket for my phone. And I go, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I don't need my phone right now.
Right.
It notifies me if I need it. Right? Like, why can I just be here? You ever drive in a car with no music?
All the time. I force, and I notice how much I'm thinking deeper, what I'm figuring out, how I'm just, everything works better when I'm not. And I love to listen to music too, get in the zone before the gym, before whatever. But yeah, no music is so beautiful. Yeah.
Just trust. Also, like, what happens if I have a little bit of faith? Like, ambition's great, but like, can I just trust that the timing of things are going to work out? Like, I'm going to be okay if I take my foot off the gas. Balance is one of the biggest things we talk about too in therapy. Mm-hmm. Like, all these things can be great, but if you're not balanced, like if I'm drinking 12 Cokes a day, it's not great. If I can keep it balanced, have one once in a while, that's cool.
And admit that you're having it.
And admit
that you're having
it. Be open and honest with all my people.
Right. So a lot of this, and one of the things that you mentioned on your website and your expertise is that you deal with a lot of burnouts.
Oh yeah.
And when burnout, we're not talking about weed smokers, okay? We're talking about burnt out in life, burnt out with stress, burnt out with overworking, things of that nature. That's something that you deal with big time. Is becoming burnt out, has that become a norm in society? Like, hey, man, it's cool. We all get burnt out. It's all right.
Not just a norm, encouraged.
Encouraged, meaning like you need to work harder. You need to grind. Yeah.
Kevin Gates, dude. I got 2 phones.
Kevin Gates.
Right? I got 3 jobs. I don't get tired. A Kevin Gates lyric that people loved in the club. You know what I mean? How many entrepreneurs and CEOs do you know? How many people are grinding and talking about their 4 a.m. wake up, right? Mark, what's his name? What's the actor?
Which one?
Fucking Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, Wahlberg. Yeah.
The 4 a.m. club.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's a good example. But we don't know what's going on deeper. But yeah, we don't.
That's another thing. A lot of us are judging,
seeing on the outside. Yeah, what they're showing us, performing.
Yes, and we forget social media is a performance.
Exactly.
All these people, everything. Like even when I do my videos, man, there's a script, guys. I'm not just making this shit up. Like there's actual behind the scenes things that are happening. So yes, the grind culture, the billionaires, it's cool and all, but there's a cost to everything. So if you're not having that balance, the grind will eventually cost you something.
And this is why those people, the same people that we're referring to, this is why they stay busy the whole time. They don't want. Now, you got people who will force themselves to stay busy because either or, imagining this, insinuating is what I'm doing. They don't want to be alone with their thoughts because they got to face something that they don't want to face? Or is it, no, it's not that. It's the addiction is full blown and they just have to keep the gears going. Or is it both?
It's usually a little bit of both. A lot of it's fear-based, to be honest. It's like financial insecurity has nothing about the amount of money you've had. I have the same financial insecurity that I had when I made $27,000 as I do today. Right? The numbers look bigger, but guess what? I'm still scared I'm going to lose it if I do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Like anytime I switch up a business model, I confront a lot of my fears. Like I went from taking insurance for most of my career to this year was the first one that I only take cash. for my private therapy, not my IOP that still does out of network because it has to. But I remember seeing that calendar get a little lighter. You know what I mean? And it's like, can I trust? Can I actually lean into this and do what I know works for me?
Instead of trying to find more clients and make yourself full and all that.
Yeah, like, okay, this is actually, I did it on purpose. Like, I did it so I could see half the people and make the same amount of money. Now can I trust to watch it actually happen, even when it feels bad? For a lot of people, man, there's so much fear-based.
Yeah, and it's funny because you said trust a couple of times there, and really something that's cliche as fuck is trust the process. Believe in the process and trust it.
Yeah, dude. And it's why therapy is very hard for men too, because I have guys all the time. I'm like, it's like losing weight. If you saw yourself in the gym, it's hard to see your progress unless you had the before and after pictures that look different. Right. Same thing happens with mental health. I tell my clients, I'm like, trust me, you're doing much better, right? But they don't feel like it. And progress in mental health is not linear, right? It's not a straight line. It's up and down. There's going to be back steps. So for a lot of guys to trust me and to believe me that these things that we're doing that are new and uncomfortable and feel weird are actually going to lead you to success, it's very difficult to buy in.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you find yourself liking this podcast, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and why not share this with a friend or family member? We appreciate all the support. Let's get back to the podcast. And Danny, tell me this. So what's the biggest truth about mental health that people are just not talking about that you want everybody out there to know?
We all have it. Mental health, dude. It's your mind's health. Like, you can't neglect your mind's health. So as much as we like to say, like, hey, I don't have this diagnosis or X, Y, and Z, we all have a mind that we're trying to take care of. And when you buy into that piece, the same way we bought into physical health, like, I think that's a big thing that's popping right now is everybody's exercise. You know, exercise is huge. Nobody, with the weight loss drugs and all that stuff, people want to be in shape. Can we understand that the program, that the brain, that the computer that runs the system also needs maintenance?
That's right.
That doesn't mean you have to come every week, but are you willing to at least have it inspected to see if it's running the way you'd like, to see if your beliefs, values, and philosophies actually line up and are getting you where you need to be? Like, let's check the map. You know what I mean? We all want to get certain places. Is what I'm doing today actually going to get me to my destination in a healthy place?
Great advice. And that makes me want to ask you, I try to ask all my guests this. You know, I've learned that one of the biggest things, one of my biggest takeaways from doing podcasts, especially with individuals like you who are so educative and intelligent, especially in your expertise, is I walk away with something that I learned, something that I'll never forget. There's always bits and pieces from every one of you guys that I already mentioned, Dave Krasky a couple of times, and what he's said, and other past podcast guests. I want to put you on the spot just a little bit. I want you to think deeply into what's some of the best advice that you've gotten in the past, and who gave that to you, and how much does it still hold right now?
You are not alone. That's one of the biggest pieces that has made me want to seek help, is to know that there's so many other people that are dealing specifically with my issue. And, I heard it a lot. I heard it, many times, and it really took, seeing it and hearing others. Like, there's a thing in AA called a fifth step, right?
Fifth step.
Fifth
step. Okay.
Well, actually, it's based on a fourth. A fourth is what we call a moral inventory. It's kind of like where you go through your life, and like if you had a store, you'd write down all your inventory, everything, your resentments, your sexual history, all these different pieces. And then the fifth step is that you tell it to another individual, right? All your
disclose it,
all your shameful, all your shit. And I remember, like, every time I've ever done one, the guy looks at me and he goes, "That's it? That's all the shit you were so scared to share?" And I'm like, oh, like, it's not that bad, guys. Like, as much shame and guilt that you might have about X, Y, and Z, I promise if you're honest, there's somebody out there that's had probably the exact same experience, if not worse. And when we get together and we normalize it and we talk and support each other, it's so much easier to live.
Sometimes this is a lot for people to take in, whether or not they have it in them to rewatch this podcast or look up other experts in your field. It's a lot of information. It can be overwhelming at some point. And, again, people tend to take bulletin points. You happen to remember that great advice that you just recited. There's a lot of advice that I have remember. Now I want to put you on the spot and say, what's some great advice that you would give others out there? If we died today and no one else got to hear what Daniel Rubin had to say, what's some good general advice that people can hang on to, remember, and apply to their life so that they can be in a better position, like what you speak of?
I mean, I think my biggest message is mental health is not weakness. Just because you have an issue doesn't mean you're flawed. We are all just human beings. We are not supposed to be perfect individuals. We are supposed to have these challenges that allow us to grow. All the things that I've been through have only allowed me in my mind, my soul, my body, my heart to expand. And if we're willing to look at these things like that, it's way easier. And, my number one thing I think that prevents people from coming to see me is the guilt and shame that, they are somehow broken because they have this thought, they had been through this experience, they did this thing, and they carry so much of it and prevents so many people from getting the love and help and support they really need.
Would you say that they should probably open up to maybe a friend or family or someone close before they seek actual help, before they try to reach out to an expert in your shoes? I mean, is that a good first step, or is it, no, your friends don't know shit, they're not professionals, they're probably going to tell you the wrong thing like some of my boys do, and no, you should just skip that and go right to the professional?
Listen, this one's hard too, because there are some people that are their own fears are gonna. I love this Jay-Z quote where he talked about his uncle tried to get him to stop rapping. He's like, oh, that was my uncle's shit. Like, that was his own fears. And if I would have bought into it, I could have let that direct my life. So for some people, yeah, man, learning.
Sorry about that.
Learning to open up and taking that first step can be beneficial. And it doesn't, I tell people like getting sober, like AA is not the only way, right? Church, community, a men's group, there's so many ways. But just getting support from somebody is beneficial. And, know the difference. Like, if you do come to us, like, there's a bunch of ethical codes that we have. Like, one of the main ones is to do no harm. We don't benefit from giving you X, Y, and Z advice or structure. Like, this is our genuine medical professional opinion, and we don't have bias. Like, at the end of the day, if you came to see me, when you leave, guess what doesn't affect me anymore? What you do.
Right.
Exactly. I sit in that chair, I do the best job I can, but like, I'm not attached to your success. Like, in the beginning, as an early counselor, you might have a little bit of like that, but overall, like, we're just doing the best to our knowledge, where if you go to your mom, sister, aunt, uncle, brother, friend, they are impacted by what you do.
Right.
It's like family systems don't like change, is a saying we say all the time. Like, when alcoholics or whoever gets sober, as much as they want the person to heal, there's a subconscious piece that doesn't, because they like the system to work like it is.
The way it's been working, right,
Mm-hmm.
right. I want to point out that, I've called out in my field, in mixed martial arts, there's a lot of fighters, up-and-coming fighters, amateur fighters, professional fighters, who live, act, talk, feel, believe a certain thing, and you can hold them at fault for it and so on and so forth. But what I really do is I put it on the coaches, is what I do. I say, coaches, you guys need to step your game up. These are your pupils, these are your students, these are your prodigies. They're following your guidance, and I put the pressure on them that step your game up and encourage them to do this. Stop them from doing that, blah, blah, blah. Whatever's within your power, do that. I would like to piggyback what you just said and kind of encourage people who are not the ones seeking the help, the friends who are going to give a biased opinion, friends out there, including my friends, my crew, all of you motherfuckers. Let's try a lot more genuinely to tell somebody, hey, seems like you really could use some professional help. And no one's going to look down on you or think differently if you seeked it. And as much as I want to give you an opinion, I know it's going to be biased. I know it's going to be based on our friendship and what I know about you, how much I love about you, and so on and so forth. But the truth is, I think you should probably go seek some help. I want to tell people out there, especially after hearing you and hearing all this great stuff that you've been spitting, put that a little bit on us, guys. Let's not try to play Daniel's role, and let's definitely not antagonize or poke at the bear and make fun of the person like we did to my boy. And he didn't reach out until I reached out to him. And let's encourage people to, hey, man, maybe you should seek some help. Maybe you should go talk to somebody. I think that would go pretty far if we can encourage friends to do that.
Well, it's what we call dual relationships.
Okay.
Right? So as a therapist, I'm not going to be your friend if you're my client, because that means I wear two hats.
Right.
So sometimes what happens with people, and this is why relationships can be harder, is we violate boundaries, right? As much as like you might want to give psychological help to your friend, what happens to the friendship when you step into the doctor role, right? It's very hard to have a dual relationship. So it actually preserves your relationships more, guys. If you don't add dual roles and you keep it simplified, it's impossible to never have a dual relationship. But the more clear your boundaries are, the easier it is to maintain that relationship. You know what I mean? Like, right. If you're dealing with someone that's got deep, dark depression and you're trying to like support them and like play that doctor role, it's very hard to be the friend too.
Right. Makes total sense. It does. Daniel, you blessed us with a lot of great information today. Evidently, I'm sure that the majority of the world doesn't know that we have a men's mental health awareness, or just people in general, mental health awareness, and the importance of us taking care of our minds. I would love for people to reach out to you in whichever way, shape, or form. What are the platforms? I know you have multitude of YouTube. You got it all. Please tell these people where they can follow you and reach out to you.
So the main businesses that I like to promote is I have a private practice where I see men and women, but mainly men's mental health. You can contact me at 404-668-8369. And then we also have an intensive outpatient program. So this is for people that are not familiar with IOPs. It is a step up from individual counseling. So instead of just seeing somebody like once a week, you actually come, you do group work. You have group Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 6 to 9. You see somebody individually, and you also get psychiatric care. So this can either be a step up from individual, or if you do go to residential treatment and you come back, this is like the launching pad of you get therapy while you're back at work. So a lot of our men, we're working professional men, they're not the guys that could technically take off 30 days and leave
to a
treatment.
Facility, right?
So they get to come to us, they get to still live at home, but they're getting about 10 to 11 hours of clinical work a week with psychiatric care. And a lot of guys don't even know IOP exists. They're like, wait a minute, this thing, like, yeah. So if like you're having symptoms that are causing you not to function, like the depression's so bad you're missing work, the anxiety is causing you to avoid things, you got PTSD from X, Y, and Z, the drinking or drugging or anything got out of control, you can come to us. We're a men's only program. We only accept 12 men at a time. And then for the 12 men, we have 4 full-time therapists. Most places in Florida, you have 15 to 1.
Wow.
Client to therapist ratio. We have 3 to 1. So we're a very personalized private program. It's not like you're walking into Betty Ford. You walk into a private office setting with other working professional men. All that information can be found at southfloridamentalhealth.com, or again, my phone number 404-668-8369. And for people out there, man, like, you can call me, you could text me. One of my big things is helping people find the right treatment too, because
even if it's not you.
Yeah, 1,000%, because there's a lot of dirty marketing in the treatment world where, like, I've had guys end up in like Arkansas and they're like, it must have been a God moment. And I'm like, no, that's fucking shady internet marketers sending you to a place you don't really need. Like, that's another thing. As you guys seek help, find people that are actually specializing in your field. Like, if you pull up a web page and it has every disorder on it,
right,
be careful.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a little bit of a jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Correct. And like, especially with addiction, I see so many people that get terrible advice because they saw somebody that really doesn't understand the brain disease of addiction. Like, I know primary care physicians who are like, oh, you don't really have to stop drinking. And I'm like, what?
Really?
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they don't really know. There's like primary care physicians do not get educated on mental health.
Right. They're not psychologists.
No,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. They're all physiological.
Yeah. There's an extra 2 years of med school for psychiatrists that you get where you learn all this stuff. So even like I know so many people that go to their primary care for antidepressants, and I'm like, spend a little money, go see a psychiatrist, and actually learn what's going to work for you.
And try to weave off the pills, maybe.
Well, yeah, it depends. You know, everybody's different, guys. Remember, there's like, I love it when people compare medications too. Like what Lexapro does for me is not going to do what it does for you. Everybody's body chemistry is different.
Right.
Everybody's different. Like you have to have the conversation. Like I do TikTok lives all the time, and people are like, I have this symptom. What does it mean? I'm like, I can't tell you. This is a complex issue. Like
Right.
you are going to have to sit with your professional and give them a full picture. That's another piece of advice. Don't lie to your therapist. You might as well burn your money.
Really? I know.
It's fucking pointless.
Makes no sense, yeah.
But people do it all the time.
Well, you've given us none but great advice, and I hope everybody out there can share this. And by the way, if you really enjoyed this episode, guys, share it with somebody. You know, there's people out there who need it. If you think, I mentioned my friend already a couple of times, if I would have had this podcast prior to that conversation with that friend, I would send him this podcast, and I'll say, hey, listen, you don't got to listen to me. Listen to the specialist. Listen to the expert. Guys, do that out there. This is an expert, and he's making it very clear. There's a lot of fucking men out there. Could be your brother, your father, your uncle, your boss, whoever it is, a coworker, who are going through some shit. And if you think that they kind of reached out, they kind of gave you a couple of hints like my friend did, then shoot them this podcast. Shoot them this link and tell them, hey, watch this and see what it does for you. Maybe you should reach out to Daniel or anybody else. Like the way Daniel said, if it's not with him, he wants to put you in the right direction. So I really hope that everybody takes this, you know, with a grain of salt and spreads the love. And now we're all more aware, you know, of mental awareness, period, you know, both sexes, and we can all be in a better place. So Daniel, I really appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. Guys, make sure you reach out, show some love, follow him, reach out to him. And of course, don't forget to keep showing your love for the podcast. Share this with somebody. Don't forget to hit that like button, and we're going to see you on the next one. Peace.